Nearly 30 years ago, Van Halen's Jump hit #1. The band and Eddie Van Halen have been going strong for over 40 years in the world of rock. LL Cool J is about to celebrate 30 years himself, but in the world of hip-hop. And these two music icons have now joined forces for a new project. It's LL Cool J's Authentic album. So I guess the obvious question is, how did you two guys meet?
At a meeting?
It's an unusual pairing.
At a meeting, yeah. I reached out to Eddie. I had an idea about doing, a song that had some rock guitar on it, and I feel like Eddie's the best in the world. And I reached out to him and was hopeful, had my fingers crossed that he would be into working on the record with me. And he came by the studio. I played the demo for him, and he said, let's rock and roll.
He played me some other songs, and it was such a diverse record. When I first got the call, it was such a left-of-center thing, and I went, what the hell do you want with me? But I agreed to meet with him, so I go down there, and his enthusiasm and
He's a pretty impressive guy, isn't he?
Well, he's just so excited,
Yeah.
And he played me all this diverse stuff, and I'm going, I'd really like to be a part of this. And the interesting thing about the song itself is I got to give him a lot of credit for being open to pushing the envelope and experimenting and not being afraid to do things that haven't been done. Because usually in a song, during the vocal, there's rhythm guitar. Well, I'm ripping guitar solo while the vocal's going on.
Yeah.
So it's a very unique, interesting combination, blend, you know what I mean?
You play a big part in my life, my early life, because when I was 19, Jump came out. It was a huge, huge hit, wasn't it? Like one of those things you sort of dream of as a rock star.
It's funny because at the time I had played on Beat It, on Michael Jackson's record, and his album went to #1, and our album was #2. Our single was #1, his single was #2. Then he did that Pepsi commercial, he burned his hair, and he stayed at #1.
Selfish, man.
To this day, the guys in the band still blame me for that album not going to #1. It's your fault.
Is it true you didn't get paid to be on the Jackson?
I did it as a favor,
So Michael Jackson rings up and says, Eddie, you're the best guitarist in the world. Can you play on my song Beat It? It's a smash hit around the world, and you get $0.
Well, I didn't ask for anything. It was about 20 minutes out of my life. Quincy had called me up and asked me if I wanted to do it. And honest to God truth, the band's policy was, we don't do things outside of the band at the time. And everybody's out of town, so I had no one to ask. And I swear to God, I figured, who's going to know if I play on this Black Kids record? But the funniest thing of all was I actually rearranged the song. The section they wanted me to solo over, it was just, there's no chord changes underneath it. So I had to rearrange the song, and then Michael came in and I said, oh, I hope you don't mind, I changed your song. And he listens and he goes, no, I really like that high-fast stuff you do. And that was it. It took about 20 minutes out of my life.
What do you feel about what happened to Michael Jackson? The big court case going on at the moment. But, I mean, a really sad end to one of the world's great careers.
He was a sweet guy, is all I know. He got accused of a lot of things, and he was just, I think, he wanted to remain a kid himself.
And I got to spend a lot of time with Mike. We weren't super tight friends, but we were friends, and a couple of times I got to fly with him, and he gave me some good advice. He told me, LL, no matter what you do, never limit yourself. And he also told me that, if they can whistle the melody, then the record can be heard worldwide, and the whole world can rock to it.
Or if you can dance.
Or if you can dance a little bit. So,
What about for people like me that can neither write melodies nor dance?
No, but you can listen. You can whistle a little bit.
Yeah, guitar guy.
Yeah, you might be able to whistle a little bit. You got a little whistle in you.
Now, LL, I've interviewed you a few times. I've never interviewed you, Eddie, unfortunately, but I'm delighted to now.
Neither one of us have interviewed you.
No, we'll leave that for
very
another time. But the question I've really wanted to ask you since it happened is my favourite story, probably of the last 10 years, was the burglar that broke into your house. That's not the favourite bit.
Yeah.
Breaks into your house in the middle of the night. You're there with your 4 children, your wife, and you come down and you find this guy. And the reason it's my favourite story was the police statement, which had your real name, James Todd Smith, and it said, Mr. Smith was unhurt after the altercation, and the burglar suffered a broken jaw, broken cheek, broken nose, and broken ribs.
Yeah, you
Talk
know,
about
don't-
wrong
yeah,
guy,
yeah.
wrong house.
Yeah,
Pick the wrong house.
yeah,
In all seriousness, tell me about that.
You know, my alarm went off at 1 o'clock in the morning, and not the alarm, but the delay, entry delay, and I looked, scrolled through it, family room, and I said to my wife, like, family room? I'm thinking maybe my daughters are coming in, so I strolled downstairs in my underwear, you know, just to see what's going on, and I get down there, and this guy comes out of my kitchen at me, and I detained him. I think I did what any man would do, you know, or what most men would do, which is do whatever you got to do to protect your family.
Absolutely right.
I had to do that, and I'm just glad that I was able to stop and, you know, let the authorities take care of the rest and not try to take justice.
Not
into
as
my
glad
hands.
as the burglar was. I
Oh
shouldn't
man,
think.
yeah.
With me, you break in, you're facing an Uzi.
Yeah. And on that bombshell, let's take a short break. Let's come back. I want to talk to you about survival in a notoriously risky business. You two are two great survivors. I don't know how you've done it.
All right. Let's talk
And about what you do with that Uzi.
Yeah. My Uzi weighs a ton. Hold it now. Rock legend Eddie Van Halen, hip-hop icon LL Cool J, team up for LL's latest album, Authentic. You just heard one of the two songs, Not Leaving You Tonight. So just at the break there, fascinating, we're talking about your son, who's joined you in the band. He's 22, Wolfgang. He's been playing, you said, since he was 10, and you had this eureka moment when you realized the boy had got rhythm.
Okay, I bought him a drum kit, and it sat there for a while, you know, and one day I was in the kitchen, and I faintly hear this, and he was doing something that I've never heard any drummer do for one thing with one foot. It had the lope of with 2 feet. But he doing it with one. So I'm going, who's up there playing? I run up there, and it was him. And he must have been 8, something like that. And so I just went, whoa, you know. But more interesting, though, is the perspective of a different generation that he brings, you know, to the band, and his opinion of our music. Like he's in charge of the set list and you know, our latest record. He said, no, we should do that song. No, you know, he was the one pretty much in charge.
How do you cope with the mantle of, as LL called you, the greatest guitarist in the world? Because many people think you are.
Say that again? What?
The greatest guitarist in the world.
How do I feel about
How do you
that?
cope with that title?
Well, I didn't come up with the title.
No, they did.
Well, I just do my thing, you know? It's like, it's just an opinion.
The worst thing for an artist is to be judged by a standard that you don't want to be judged by. In other words, you know, you make a song with Eddie Van Halen and someone's comparing it to a record that is designed specifically for, you know, the barbershop in the hood. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's just, they're different. Like with this project and what we're doing, I wanted to bridge gaps. I wanted to do something that hip hop hasn't done before in terms of a full album. Like Run DMC worked with Aerosmith many, many years ago, and that was a breakthrough moment. But no one has ever gotten an album and put an album together where they have people like Eddie Van Halen, and they have Seal, and they have, you know, Brad Paisley, and all of these different artists on one record together. That hasn't.
Well, talking of Brad Paisley,
You know.
this furore that erupted over accidental racist.
Yeah.
What were you trying to achieve? With
What I was trying to achieve is
Don't judge a book by its cover.
exactly. It was really that simple. Don't judge a book by its cover, and, you know, also, we have to get past what happened in the past if we're going to really have a future together. You know, I think that the bitterness thing, I think people really miss it. People thought that I was trying to trivialize slavery, which is ridiculous. You know, I couldn't, with good conscience, as a black man in America who was born and raised here, just say, okay, that didn't exist, and it's all okay, because it's not okay. That's not what I was implying. But what I was trying to say is, I also don't feel like I need to walk around upset with every white person I meet, or upset with every Southern white that I meet, or Midwestern white that I meet, just because of what happened in the past. There are generational issues, but we have to get past it. And I'll give you an example. When you look at what happened with a kid like Trayvon Martin, you look at the kids that are arrested every day and thrown in prison for no reason, are harassed by police for no reason, other than the fact that their clothing is the way it is. I was saying, don't judge a book by its cover. If you want to be around that flag and you want to represent Southern pride, okay, I can tolerate that to a certain extent. If you don't arrest my son, you don't harass the kids, we get rid of that glass ceiling. You know, those are the things that I was trying to imply, and I think that is such a complex topic that I think people, they thought I was talking about one thing when I was talking about another, and, you know, I hope you get what I'm saying?
Totally,
On top of that, there's plenty of white people who don't like me.
You know,
So that's right out
but
there.
it was an interesting thing to deal with, though. It was very interesting because at the end of the day, you know, things always land on the side of love, man, and love conquers all, you know, and you know,
and music too.
And that's what the song. Yeah. That's what we endure. Why? Because music is the answer to war. That's one of the lyrics in the song. We're the greatest.
It is the universal language.
Tell me this, Eddie. I mean, you're nearly 60. I hope you don't mind me saying that. You look great on it, by the way.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you very much. I'm not the same age as you. I just look it. But you're a recovered alcoholic. You've been clean a long time. You've survived oral cancer and various other ailments. How have you survived the business, though? Because so many people in your trade have died young of overdoses, alcoholism, whatever it may be.
I'm very lucky.
Yeah, what do you put it down to, though? What is the art of survival in
Good
the rock
genes
industry?
and, no, actually just music, you know, making music.
Yeah.
You know, keeps you young.
Can you still do that jump?
Yeah, yeah.
The same height?
Well, it hurts a little more.
Yeah.
When I land. It's not
Well,
it's not the jump, it's the landing.
Well, it's a really unusual pairing, but it's incredibly effective. And I think everyone should go and listen to it, because you will love the tracks that you've done. But the whole album is typical LL Cool J. It's new, it's innovative, it's exciting.
And that was the most important thing, to be innovative for me.
Yeah, well, it always is with you. Even down to the jewelry you wear in my studio. You can also check out the dates for the Van Halen tour, van/halen.com. Great to see you.
Yep.
Great to meet you.
And you know what? Kings of the Mic tour is coming too, so I'll be out there.
How do they get details of that?
Go to llcoolj.com, check it out. Get details.
And while you're at it, go to piersmorgan.com. It doesn't actually exist, and I don't have a tour.
And hit me up on Twitter. And hit me up on Twitter too while you're at it.
Yeah, no, you can hit me up on Twitter, definitely, at Piers Morgan.
You can open for both of us.
Guys, thank you both very much
Thank you,
indeed.
Piers.
Two great legends. Next, the inside story to Matt Lauer and Curry in the brutal morning show wars. I'll talk to author Brian Stelter, who sets the record straight. That's coming up next.